Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, beloved friends. When a student starts his journey of ilm, then it is very soon that he realizes that ilm is an ocean with no ending. That there is no limit to the amount that a person can learn. However, the time that we have to learn is very limited. So, what we are trying to achieve is unlimited, but the means that we have to achieve it is very limited. That our time is limited, but the knowledge that we want, that is unlimited. So it is only logical that if we really want to excel, then we will have to make sure that we utilize our limited time correctly. That literally every second we have to spend it in a way that is beneficial. Then only we can have hope of attaining a little from the knowledge that is unlimited. Ibn Aqil Hanbali rahimahullah, he was a great scholar of the 5th century. He was born in the year 431 Hijri and he passed away in the year 513 Hijri. So during his lifetime, he accomplished a lot. It's mind-boggling how much he managed to achieve. You know, he wrote just one book, which is called Al-Funun. Alama ibn Rajab Hanbali rahimahullah mentioned about this book that it was in 800 volumes. Can you imagine one book that is in 800 volumes? Alama Dhahabi rahimahullah said, Lahu kitabul funun lam yusannaf fi dunya akbar minhu. There is no other book that was written that is larger than this book. Now you can imagine in today's times, if you have to speak about writing something that's in 800 volumes, you'll need a whole team of authors. Yet he, as one person, he wrote this book. And this book covers a variety of topics. So from tafsir to usul to Arabic grammar and even historical reports. Haji Khalifa, he writes in Kashf al-Dhunun that Kitab al-Funun li Ali ibn Aqil al-Baghdadi, that this Kitab al-Funun jama'a fihi azyad min 400 fan, that he gathered discussions on 400 different topics. So you can imagine that firstly a person needs to study, isn't he? Needs to have contents to add into his book. Thereafter, he needs to have the time to actually write all of this here. But besides this huge encyclopedia, he still wrote around 20 other books. And that's not all. There was so much other work that he was engaged in. Alama ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he wrote, وأفتى ابن عقيل ودرس وناظر الفحول واستفتي في الديوان في زمن القائم في زمرة الكبار وجمع علوم الأصول والفروع وصنف فيها الكتب الكبار. That he would issue fatwa, he would issue verdicts, he would teach, he would engage in debates, and with all of that he wrote so many books. So what was his secret? How did he manage to accomplish all of this? Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he explains to us, he says, وَكَانَ دَائِمَ الْإِشْتِغَالِ بِالْعِلْمِ, that he spent every moment in knowledge. حتى إني رأيت بخطه, he's saying that I saw what his own handwriting, that Ibn Aqil, he wrote, إني لا يحل لي أن أضيع ساعة من عمره. He says that I have not made it permissible upon myself to even waste 1 second of my life. حتى إذا تعطل لساني عن مذاكرة ومناظرة, when my tongue is not in use in imparting this knowledge, وبصري عن مطالعة, when my gaze is not in use in reading, أعمل فكري في حال راحتي وأنا مستريح, then I make sure that I use my mind so that I can gain something from that time. فلا أنهض إلا وقد خطر لما أسطره, by looking at my thoughts and by focusing and by utilizing my mind correctly, the minute I wake up I have new content which I can add to my works. And thereafter he mentioned something which is so amazing. وَإِنِّي لَأَجِدُ مِنْ حِرْصِي عَلَى الْعِلْمِ وَأَنَا فِي عَشْرِ الثَّمَانِينَ أَشَدْ مِمَّا كُنْتُ أَجِدُهُ وَأَنَا ابْنُ عِشْرِينَ. That I find that the passion and the fervor and the desire that I have of knowledge when my age is more than 80, that passion and that fervor and desire is more than when I was 20 years old. Ibn Rajab Hanbali rahimahullah, he narrates from him that Qala Hanbali is speaking about himself. أنا أقصر بغاية جهدي أوقات أكلي, that I make sure that I try to decrease the time that it takes me to even eat. حتى أختار صف الكعك وتحسيه بالماء, that I rather just take a little bit dough and dip it in water and eat that rather than eating baked bread. لأجل ما بينهما من تفاوت المزغ, just so that I can save some time. توفرا على مطالعة. Can you imagine that he chose meals which were quick to eat just so that he could get more time? We all know the great caliber of Imam Nawawi rahimahullah. Alama Dhahabi rahimahullah mentions with regards to him, كان لا يضيع له وقت لا في ليل ولا في نهار إلا في اشتغال, that he would not waste one moment, whether it was of the day or whether it was of the night, إلا في اشتغال, except that he was doing something that was beneficial. And thereafter he says about him, وَكَانَ يَأْكُلُ فِي النَّوْمِ وَاللَّيْلِ أُقْلَةً وَيَشْرَبُ شُرْبَةً وَاحِدَةً عِنْدَ السَّحْرِ, that in the day he would just eat one brief meal and he would take a quick sip of water so that he can get more time. And that is why, in spite of only living for 45 years, we all know how much he accomplished and what great commentaries he wrote and how much he contributed to this ummah, that till today we are in need of his books and we refer to his publications. Alama Abu Hilal Askari rahimahullah, he narrates in his book الحث على طلب العلم والاجتهاد في طلبه. He mentions about Khalil ibn Ahmad al-Farahidi al-Basri, that he would say أثقل ساعات علي ساعة آكل فيها, that the most severe time upon me is the time when I have to eat. So Sheikh Abdul Fatah Abu Ghudda rahimahullah, he commented on this in Qimatul Zaman, فالله أكبر ما أشد الفناء في العلم عنده, that how he would immerse himself and devote himself to attaining knowledge. So the point is that these scholars, they minimize the time with necessities so that they could attain ilm. And you have other scholars, they may not have eaten quick meals like these scholars, but they made sure to benefit whilst they were eating. Like Qadi Iyaza rahimahullah, he mentions about Abu Ja'far al-Mahri, لا يكاد يسقط الكتاب من يده حتى عند طعامه. This is in Tartib al-Madarik, that he made sure that he had a book all the time in his hands, even at the time when he was eating. If they could not read themselves, then they would make others read for them so that they could hear, and in that way they could increase their knowledge. Abdurrahman ibn Abi Hatim, he mentions about his respected father, ربما كان يأكل وأقرأ عليه ويمشي وأقرأ عليه, that there were times when he would be eating and I would have to read to him. Likewise, there was time when he was traveling, when he was walking, and I would read to him. Then there are multitudes of scholars who would sacrifice their sleep just so that they could increase their time for seeking knowledge. Alama Khatib rahimahullah, he mentions with regards to Ibn al-Baghdadi, Hussein ibn Ahmad ibn Ja'far, that كان لا ينام إلا عن غلبة. He mentions this in Tariq Baghdad in volume 8 on page 15, that he would only sleep when sleep overpowered him. He would not voluntarily go to bed, rather he would be immersed in his knowledge, and when sleep overpowered him, then he would take a few winks, he would fall asleep for a short while. It is famous about Imam Muhammad rahimahullah that he too, he would not sleep at night. So Alama Tashkubri Zada, he writes about him, لا ينام الليل. Imam Muhammad, the student of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he would not sleep at night. وكان يضع عنده دفاتر يعني كتبا, that he would keep lots of different books in front of him on various different topics. فإذا مل من نوع نظر في آخر. When he became tired with one topic, then he would look at another topic. وكان يزيل نومه بالماء, and he would avert sleep by putting water over his face, and he would say إن النوم من الحرارة, that sleep comes because of heat and water cools down the heat. So in this way they sacrifice necessities. Now we are weak, isn't it? We might find this to be too difficult, but at bare minimum we should stay away from that which does not bring benefit to us. So whether it is wasting time on social media or casually browsing the internet, or whether it is just roaming in shopping centers, we can rather utilize all this time for acquiring knowledge. We know that the very first thing that a person will be questioned about on the day of Qiyamah is what? It's regarding his time. In Jami' al-Tirmidhi, it comes on the authority of Abu Barza al-Aslami that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا تزول قدم عبد يوم القيامة حتى يسأل عن عمره فيما أفناه. That a person will be questioned on how he spent every minute of his life. I would like to mention a few practical steps on how we can manage our time better so that we can, inshallah, increase our productivity, and in that way we can attain more knowledge. So the first point is that we should plan correctly and we should set achievable goals. Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, he wrote, ولا ينبغي أن تكون أوقاتك مهملة فتشتغل في كل وقت بما اتفق كيف اتفق. That you cannot just leave your time haphazardly, that whatever happens, it happens no matter how it happens. بل ينبغي, he says that it's necessary that you need to account for your time, and you need to schedule how you are going to spend the moments of your day and your night. وتعين لكل, he says that you should stipulate for every moment and for every hour a particular work. لا تتعداه, and you should not then trespass that. You should make sure that you then adhere to it. So in this way here, we should see how we can set a timetable, how we can have a routine, probably in the beginning of a week, or maybe if you want to do it on a daily basis, then we should set goals in the morning, and then at night we should inspect and we should see how we were able to complete all the work that we set out to accomplish for that particular day. So that's the first point, that we should plan and we should set achievable goals, and then we should work towards achieving those goals. The second thing is that we should decrease meetings with those whose company does not serve us. Even if it means spending less time with our friends, if that does not help us in our goal of attaining knowledge, then we should rather decrease time with them. Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he says, أعوذ بالله من صحبة الباطلين لقد رأيت خلقا كثيرا يجرون معي فيما قد اعتاده الناس من كثرة الزيارة ويسمون ذلك التردد خدمة ويطلبون الجلوس ويجرون في أحاديث الناس وما لا يعني. He's saying وما يتخلله غيبة. He says that I seek the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from these people who will destroy my time. That they will come to visit me, and they would even then say that they are coming for khidmah, but they would begin to speak on topics which does not interest me, which are not beneficial, and it might even lead to that which is prohibited. So he says, وَهَذَا شَيْءٌ يَفْعَلُهُ فِي زَمَانِنَا كَثِيرٌ مِّنَ النَّاسِ وَرُبَّمَا. He's saying that so many people, they do this, they want to come, they want to spend time with you, but they end up wasting your time. So you know the famous poem that لقاء الناس ليس يفيد شيئا سوى الهذيان من قيل وقال فأقلل من لقاء الناس إلا لأخذ العلم أو إصلاح حال. That when you are spending time with too many people, then it might just lead you to talking on topics which are not beneficial. So rather diminish and decrease the time that you spend with people, so that you can use that time to attain knowledge and to improve yourself. So in the past, our scholars, they were very, very particular about this. They would not like to have any interactions which were not beneficial. Now this year is discussing with friends. It goes without saying that a student should not be wasting time with movies and serials and films. You know, the time wasted on film could be better used for ilm. And the greatest harm is wasting time in that which is haram. And let it not be that our downfall is because we wasted time loitering in a mall. The third thing is that since our time is so limited, we should see how we can multitask what we are doing. And this was another quality of our previous scholars, that they would be studying even when they were walking. It's mentioned about Abu Bakr al-Khayyat that يدرس جميع أوقاته حتى في الطريق, that he would have the book open, he would be studying at all times, even when he was walking. وربما سقط, sometimes he would even fall and trip because he was so engrossed in his book. And other scholars, they would not read themselves, but then they would ask others to read for them whilst they were traveling. So it's mentioned about Abu Nu'aym Isbahani rahimahullah. أحمد بن مردوية he narrates ربما كان يقرأ عليه في الطريق جزءا. He says that sometimes he would read, a book would be read to him whilst he was traveling. And Ibn al-Abunusi, he says that كان الخطيب يمشي وفي يده جزء يطالعه. Al-Imam Khatib Baghdadi rahimahullah, he would be walking and he would have a book open and he would be studying. So in today's times we have recordings, isn't it? So we can attain so much if we utilize the time correctly when we are traveling to madrasa or we're traveling to the masjid. And if you don't want to listen to recordings, then we can rather recite Quran, we can recite salawat, we can catch up on our adhkar. If you are traveling with companions, then maybe we can make mudhakara. Likewise, there's so much time that maybe it gets wasted in traffic. At times you have to wait for another person. So all this time can be spent constructively. Look at Hamad ibn Salama, that his student Abdul Rahman ibn Mahdi, he says, لو قيل لحماد ibn Salama إنك تموت غدا ما قدر أن يزيد في العمل شيئا. Imagine someone is to tell you are going to pass away tomorrow. So if someone is to tell him that you are going to pass away tomorrow, he wouldn't be able to increase his actions, because he says that كانت أوقاته معمورة بالتعبد والأوراد, that all his time was utilized correctly. Musa ibn Ismail, he says that لو قلت لكم إني ما رأيت حماد بن سلمة ضاحكا لصدقته. If I had to say that I haven't seen Hamad ibn Salama ever laughing, I will be speaking the truth. Why كان مشغولا إما أن يحدث أو يقرأ أو يصبح أو يصلي قد قسم النهار على ذلك. That all the time he was engaged in something which is beneficial like this. The fourth point is that we should learn strategies to capture knowledge faster and to carry out things at a quicker pace. Sheikh Abdul Fattah Abu Ghudda rahimahullah, he writes, وَلِحِفْظِ الْوَقْتِ وَكَسْبِهِ ذكروا قديما في أوصاف طالب العلم الذي يؤهل لتحصيل العلم ويرجى له النبوغ فيه أنه ينبغي أن يكون سريع الكتابة, سريع القراءة, سريع المشي. That in the past they would commonly say to a student who was promising and who was competent enough that he should be able to write faster, he should be able to read at a quicker pace, and he should also walk at a speed so that time is saved. Thereafter, Shaykh Abdul Fattah Abu Ghudda rahimahullah, he quotes from Abu Ismail al-Ansari that al-muhaddith يجب أن يكون سريع المشي سريع الكتابة سريع القراءة. That it's necessary for a muhaddith to have these qualities so that time is not wasted when he is reading, he can rather accomplish more. When mentioning those things that assisted Ibn Hajar rahimahullah in excelling, Allama Sakhawi rahimahullah said, وَأَعَانَهُ عَلَى كُلِّ هَذَا أُمُورٌ يَسَّرَهَا اللَّهُ تَعَالَى لَهُ قَلَّ أَن تَجْتَمِعَ فِي غَيْرِهِ. He mentions in Al-Jawahir wa Durar in volume 1 on page 161 that there are few points which assisted him in attaining all of this and in becoming successful. The first point is منها سرعة القراءة الحسنة, that he was able to read at a very fast pace and he would read correctly. And thereafter Allama Sakhawi elaborates on this and gives examples to show how fast Ibn Hajar rahimullah could read. Thereafter he says, وَمِنْهَا سُرْعَةُ الْكِتَابَ مَعَ حُسْنِهَا. He was also able to write very fast and he would have a beautiful handwriting. So the point to keep in mind is that once time passes, you will never be able to get those moments back. So Shaykh Abdul Fattah Abu Ghudda, with so much love, he's giving this advice. فَعَلَيْكَ أَيُّهَا الْأَخُ الْفَاضِلِ. that it's necessary upon you, O my beloved brother, أن تحفظ على نفسك وقتك من أن يذهب هدرا وسدى, that you should save your time from being wasted. فإن الزمان الذي تعيش فيه ظرف عابر لا يتجدد ولا يعود, that this time that you have, this time is passing, this time is not going to come back. He says فالوقت لا يتجدد ولا يعود وينبغي الانتباه لهذا والمداومة على استحضاره فإنه يحفظ على حفظ الوقت. فاحرص على كسب الزمن والانتفاع به بتنظيم نفسك وأعمالك وأوقاتك متعلما أو معلما أو مؤلفا أو مطالعا أو مستمعا أو قارئا تاليا أو عابدا زاكيا ولا تكن ظالم نفسك في قتل الوقت. Don't destroy your own self by wasting time. Don't oppress yourself by wasting time. Rather set a schedule so that you can utilize your time correctly. I'd like to end with the poem of Abdul Aziz ibn Saraya. He says حياتك رأس المال والعلم ربحه وأخلاق أشراف بهن تصدروا وموسمك الأيام فلتك حازما وإلا فذو التفريط لا شك يخسره. ومن ضيع الأوقات ضاعت حياته وعاش فقيرا جاهلا ليس يشكره. ودع غائبا من فائت ومؤمله فوقتك سيف قاطع ليس يعذره. Remember the words of the great tabi'i Hassan Basri rahmallah would say, Ibn Adam إنما أنت أيام وكلما ذهب يوم ذهب بعضك. Imam Ahmad rahmallah narrates this in his Az-Zuhd, that your life is composed of days. Every day, every moment that passes, a portion of you is passing. Al-insanu idha tanaffasa tanaqqasa. Every time we take a breath, we are going closer and closer to our graves. Therefore, if we want to attain knowledge, and thereafter, if we want to contribute towards this, if you want to contribute, then we need to ensure how we can spend our time correctly. So inshallah, let us start with these points. Let us set out a schedule. Let us plan. Thereafter, in the nights, let us introspect. Let us see. Let us do an audit and see how we have managed to, how we have spent our time, and let us see how we can practice on all the other points that I mentioned. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us this ability of comprehending the importance of time, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the opportunity of spending our time correctly. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.